She had been walking behind me for 6 blocks. Same pace, same distance. Every turn I made, she made. I didn't run, I didn't scream. I did something worse. I led her directly to my front door. Welcome to threadscares. These are real stories, submitted by real people. And tonight, 3 of them were followed home. Story 1. The Woman in the Parking Garage, submitted by Rachel T., Ohio. It was a Tuesday night in November. I'd been working late at my office downtown. One of those nights where you look up and suddenly it's 10 p.m. and the entire building is empty. I packed my laptop, said goodbye to Marco at the front desk, and walked to the parking garage 2 blocks away. Level 3, Bay C. I remembered exactly where I parked because I always park in the same spot. The garage was quiet, that particular kind of quiet that feels too heavy, like the air itself is holding its breath. My footsteps echoed off the concrete walls. I kept my keys in my hand, just out of habit. I was halfway down the row when I heard them, footsteps behind me, slow, deliberate, matching mine almost exactly. I told myself it was nothing, someone else leaving work late. I kept walking. The footsteps kept coming. I reached my car and pressed the key fob. The headlights flashed twice. I opened the door quickly, got in, locked it. I looked in my rearview mirror. A woman was standing at the entrance of the row, just standing there, not walking to a car, not looking at her phone, just looking at me. She was wearing a gray coat. Her face was expressionless. I started the car and left, told myself I was being paranoid. But here's where it gets bad. I live 15 minutes from that garage. I took my usual route, Chambers, Birch, then my street. I pulled into my driveway, cut the engine. I looked in my rearview mirror again. There was a gray coat crossing the end of my street on foot. I don't know if it was her. I will never know. But I didn't sleep that night, and I found a different parking garage the next week. Rachel never found out who that woman was. The next story is different, because this person stayed. Story 2. He Learned My Schedule, submitted by Daniel K., Vancouver. I'm a 26-year-old guy. I say that because people always look surprised, like men can't be followed. It does happen. It started small. There's a guy I used to see on my morning run. Every day at 6:15, he'd be sitting on the bench at the corner of Maple and 5th, just sitting. He'd be sitting on the bench at the corner of Maple and 5th, just sitting. No phone, no coffee, no dog, just watching the street. After a week, I started nodding at him. He never nodded back. After 2 weeks, I noticed he wasn't just on the bench when I passed by. He was on the bench when I came back too. My route is 4.2 miles. It takes me about 38 minutes. He was there when I left and there when I returned. I started changing my schedule, running at 7 instead of 6:15. He was still there. I tried 5:45, still there. I switched routes entirely. On the 3rd day of my new route, I turned a corner and he was sitting on a wall, not the bench. He didn't have a bench there. He had found a wall. I stopped running outside for 2 weeks. When I started again, I didn't see him. I forgot about him. Then one night I came home from a friend's place around 11 p.m. I parked and was walking to my building entrance. I heard footsteps behind me on the sidewalk. I turned around. It was him. He stopped walking the moment I turned. We stood there in the dark. I said loudly, "And I see you. I know what you've been doing. I have your description saved, and if I ever see you near my building again, I'm calling the police." He turned around and walked away without a word. I never saw him again after that night. But the idea that someone spent weeks learning my schedule, that's something I can't unfeel. Be aware of patterns, because if you notice them, others can too. Daniel confronted his follower, and it worked. The woman in our final story tonight wasn't as lucky. Story 3. Wrong Turn on the Right Street, submitted by Priya M., Atlanta. I live on a quiet street in a suburb outside Atlanta. The kind of street where everyone waves at each other. Very safe, or so I thought. One evening in July, I walked home from the pharmacy 2 blocks away. It was still light outside, maybe 7:30 p.m. I had earbuds in, listening to a podcast. About a block from my house, something made me pull one earbud out. I'm not sure what. Call it instinct. There was a man behind me, normal looking. Jeans, white t-shirt, baseball cap, mid-30s maybe. He was on his phone. I turned onto my street, so did he. I slowed down slightly. He slowed down. I sped up. He sped up. Not dramatically, just enough to maintain the same distance. My heart started beating fast. I made a decision in that moment, one of the best decisions I've ever made. I did not walk to my front door. Instead, I walked past my house and directly to my neighbor Linda's door. Linda is 68 years old and she was absolutely confused when I knocked frantically. I said quickly, Linda, please let me in. There's a man following me." She opened the door immediately. I stepped inside. She closed and locked it. Through her front window, we watched the man walk past slowly. He stopped in front of the house next to mine, my actual house, and stood there for almost a full minute looking at the front door. Then he walked away. Linda called the police. They found no one matching the description. We filed a report anyway. Linda called the police. They found no one matching the description. We filed a report anyway. I think about what would have happened if I'd gone directly home. Linda saved my life that night, and she didn't even know she was doing it. 3 different people, 3 different cities, same feeling, that cold, creeping realization that someone has chosen you. If there's one thing to take away from tonight, trust your instincts. They exist for a reason. Trust your instincts. If you have a story, leave it in the comments. New videos every Tuesday and Friday. Stay safe and stay aware.